Well, hello people. Today we have a left-handed reproduction of a Rickenbacker bass. it, it's got extra big Bakelite knobs here. The story behind this one is that I made it. The customer pretty much brought me in some rough cut ears. They're, just sort of roughed out, and the neck was sort of really roughed out, all square and stuff, and no fingerboard, no inlays. Pretty much a scratch project. I have pictures. I'll probably post those. So yeah, he's a little eccentric. He likes his big giant knobs, which it's left-handed, and what I did with this when I did the finish, it's actually like a gold leaf underneath the top there. There was a big knot that went in the most, I think you can see, yeah, here's the other side, here's the back side. That knot went all the way to the front, and so couldn't really cover it up without putting, painting it a solid color. In this case, I suggested doing an actual gold leaf base, and then finishing on top of it. Yeah, and it's pretty cool. It's it's about 6 years old at this point, and it's a water-based finish. It's a water-based lacquer. Interesting to see how it held up over the years. I see a little bubble here, right here. Let's see if we can't get that glued back down and secured here. But the main part, he had someone else put tuners on it, and they really did a mess up job here. So we're going to sand it back and redo the whole thing like it used to be. Okay, so we're going to place the gold leaf, and you can get this stuff at any craft store. It's probably not really gold. You can get real gold, but this is a pretty convincing reproduction of gold leaf here. This type is flaked. It comes in sheets, of course, and to apply it, this is called speedball. Oh, they make pens and calligraphy stuff, but it's basically a glue, a water-based glue, and it's kind of like like a water-based contact cement. So we're just going to apply. I think I'm going to randomize some of these brush lines, so I don't want the brush lines to show through when we put the gold leaf on. Good even coverage. Doesn't have to be a lot. I'm gonna And try to randomize those streaks. Okay. A little wax paper here. And this. Okay, it's probably going to get all over everything, but pretty much. If we don't like this, I just might go to the store and get the sheets. I don't know. I don't know if I'm doing this right, but kind of not liking the look of it, but flattened out, and I might start over. I don't know. And that seems to work a little bit. Stuff is flaky. Definition of flaky. Yeah, yeah, that could work, I guess. Get that flattened out. It'll have sort of a random look to it. All right. Okay. So we have our gold leaf applied. Been curing for a couple of days. And yeah, it's got sort of a random mottled effect. I'm gonna use what I used originally. Minwax polyacrylic crystal clear. Yep, that's what I used. That's what's on this thing. So we're going to use the same thing. Just brush it on. Water based, so no fumes. Kind of cool to work with, actually. I'll brush that on there. That little section there. And that's all there is to that for now. We'll probably give it a couple coats. And then we'll spray the burst, which is actually sort of a diagonal slanted one here and one up here. Now on this one, at some point the walnut insert had to be removed in order to replace the truss rod or the truss rod nut. And, you know, collateral damage is inevitable. Someone had done a touch up on it. And it was, yeah, not great. So what we're doing here is we're filling any chips here. I actually using dyed epoxy in this case, and filling those little chips there. And I spread some up here to try, because it was bare maple before. I am going to airbrush it as well to sort of help tie it all in and reduce that not a great look. But what are you going to do? You have to sort of undo the collateral damage. Yeah, we'll sand that all back, and we'll give it we'll mix up the same color and try to blend it all in, especially here. So what I've done so far is I mixed up some epoxy with a little bit of red, and 8 parts red and 2 parts brown to get that reddish brown there. Now, so yeah, I mixed that up and put it on there to sort of replace the finish that was underneath there to build up thickness of it. And also I dabbed there's a few nicks and bumps in here. I sort of touched those up with that epoxy. All right, so we're gonna take an airbrush and mix up another 8 parts red to 1 part brown, 1 or 2 parts, and we're going to go around this edge, and we have to really avoid this. The reason we're going through all this trouble, we just didn't strip the whole thing. This logo is very rare. You can get Fender logos all day long. Anyway, we couldn't find an exact copy of this, which is important to the customer because this is a signature series. I forget, some famous dude. It's a custom shop. I always thought CN meant China, doesn't it? But it's got the custom shop logo here. I might have to mix up another little tiny batch. Anyway, I'm going to get an airbrush and just sort of soften the appearance around here and go around. I'm going to have to avoid this area here because this can't be replaced exactly. We could always get a gold and black one. It's yeah, you really can't find these just on this model or a few models, maybe a Telly, but you can't, no one's making them. So we had connections to Fender to no avail. I've sanded and filled all these little dings and whatnot with epoxy, and I colorized the epoxy to sort of tone down the bare maple that is right here. So I've mixed myself up some cherry red, I believe 10 drops of cherry red and 3 drops of medium brown. I mixed it with a generous dose of lacquer thinner, and then I took lacquer, put a little bit in there as a binder. I'm going to go pretty dark right here and just sort of let it morph into these areas here. That doesn't look half bad. It's certainly a lot better than it was. I'm just gonna nick the outer edge here. You can hear the wind blowing past the corner here, and I'm using that as a guide. A little hissing sound. Oops. Careful. Alrighty. Okay, now we're going to put a little clear coat on there and seal it all in. Okay, good morning. So here we have our lefty Rick, and we're working on the headstock. We sprayed the color, and now we're gonna clear coat it. Should I use nitro, or should I use the same thing I used for the rest of the body, which was a water-based finish? It's holding up pretty well. It's glossy, but it's about 8 years old now when I built it. Yeah, it looks good. All right, we're going to clear that over. I'll probably use water base, at least for the next coat. Okay. All right, we'll seal that in, and then we'll probably hit it with nitro after we sand that back and get it smooth. Use that as a primer coat. Good morning. Here's our Rickenbacker headstock. I painted it with some Minwax polyacrylic, about 3 coats. I only needed you can brush that stuff on, you don't need to spray it. But it does need to be wet sanded a little bit, smooth it out. And once we have that done, we're gonna go in the spray booth and spray some nitrocellulose on top of that. You can put nitrocellulose on top of a lot of things, but you can put almost nothing on top of nitro. It's not a stable base, but this is water-based products, acrylics, polyurethanes and whatnot. You can put nitrocellulose on top, but you can't put anything on top of nitrocellulose for the most part. So this makes a good inert base. I often use this stuff as a barrier coat between two unknown finishes. You don't know exactly what's on there or what's gonna really happen. The water-based stuff makes a nice generic inert barrier coat, and that includes like guitar hanger burn that happens on either side here. Sometimes I'll dig that out. The chemicals leach out of the rubber plastic on the hangers. They get into in some cases, down into the wood. And once you do that, just scraping it away and putting new lacquer on top works sometimes, but definitely works better if you put a barrier coat. And this makes a wonderful barrier coat for those wall hanger burns. Professional tip, just like I'd let you know. All right, good morning. Okay. So we sprayed about 6 coats or so of nitro on top of the Minwax polyacrylic. And we got a nice smooth surface there. We're just gonna wet sand it starting with some 800 wet or dry sandpaper, 800 water. I put a little dishwashing liquid that helps lift the particles, the finished particles, makes water a little wetter. I'm just gonna get this sanded down. And then we'll follow that with some 15 to 1,000 or 1,500. And then we'll go to 2,000, and then we'll go to 3,000 grit. We'll be good to go. It'll look nice. you.